So this problem is asking us to factor something called a trinomial. Tri meaning three terms. Okay. Factoring trinomials, the goal is to turn it into something like this, where we got two parentheses, where you got some x's in the front of the parentheses, maybe some numbers. This is just an example of what it might look like. We want to turn this into this. So that's what a trinomial is when it has three terms. There's two types of factoring with trinomials. One type of factoring is when you don't have a number next to x squared. That's the easier type, and you're going to want to watch a different video if you're working on a problem where it's just x squared or p squared or just a letter squared without a number. This video is going to use the longer method of factoring because there's a number in front of x. What you have to do when this is the case is you got to multiply the first and the last numbers, assuming it's in descending order. So I'm going to do 6 times 22 makes now sorry, I should have typed in negative 22 because this is 6 times a negative 22, right? 6 times negative 22 makes, oh, I didn't do the negative sign. 6 times 22, then I press negative. There we go. That makes negative 132. My old instructor would call that the magic number. Okay, if you multiply the first and the last, you get something called the magic number. The goal is to find two numbers that multiply to be negative 132, but those same two numbers also add up to be 29. So that can be tough. Let's just try to think of some numbers. If we take 132 and divide it by 2, then how about 2 times negative 66? If you do that with your calculator, we know it's going to make 132 because we just did the division. But if you add these up, 2 plus negative 66, it doesn't meet that second criteria. It doesn't make 29 here. So let's try to find some other numbers. Let's take 132, maybe divide it by 4. 4 times 33 apparently makes 132 according to our calculator. One of them has to be negative though. So since I'm trying to make sure it adds up to be a positive 29, I'm going to make the smaller number be negative and see if that works. Okay. You could have done it like this. 4 times negative 33, that makes negative 132. But if you use a calculator, 4 plus negative 33 equals negative 29. And it's supposed to be a positive 29. So the negative sign has to be on the 4 here. And this is actually it. This is our pair because now, if you check that in your calculator, a negative 4 plus 33, they do add up to 29. And a negative 4 times 33, that multiplies to be negative 132, just like it's supposed to. So this is our magic pair, we could call it. Okay, so once you've got that magic pair, then we're almost there. What you have to do is replace this plus 29x with your magic pair. So notice I wrote the minus 4 with an x attached to it. Okay, so I got this number replaced. If we were to combine like terms right now, it just turned back into what we started with. But the whole reason for doing that is because now we can put parentheses around the first two numbers and parentheses around the last two numbers. And now we can factor by grouping. Okay, if you factor out something in common, look, this is a 6 and this is a 4, so I can divide a 2 out of this parentheses. 6 divided by 2 makes 3. Oh, and I actually can divide something else out. I can divide a 2 out of both of these numbers, but I have 2 x's here and I have 1 x over here, so we can take at least an x out of both of these. So if you've got x squared, if you take an x out, you've got 1x. If you take this number 6, divide by 2, makes 3. Same thing here, 4 divided by 2 makes 2, and then an x, we're dividing out an x, so that makes 1, it cancels out. We've taken out that extra x. And then do the same thing over here. Note that that's a negative 33 in this parentheses. I'm going to divide, these are both divisible by 11, and I'm actually going to take out negative 11. That way I can turn both these negative signs into a positive sign. Okay? Actually, wait a second. We got a problem. Oh, I was wrong. I covered it up. Man, this is bad penmanship. This is actually a plus. Oh, man, that's a brutal mistake to make. Okay, so let's go back. Let me redo how I drew this parentheses. We said that's a positive 33, right? So that's a plus 33 here. So I was wrong when I copied down the negative sign. So when we factor out here, they're both divisible by 11 still, but I'm going to take out a positive 11 instead of a negative 11. Okay, so if you've done everything right, this is where the magic happens. Just by magic, these two parentheses are the same. So for your final answer, you're going to make a parentheses out of the stuff that's on the outside. And then you're going to make one of the duplicated parentheses. Because what's happening is you're factoring out the number 3x minus 2. It's in common with both these terms. So what I'd type in here in my math lab is I'd type in 2x plus 11, 3x minus 2. And if it doesn't work, then yell at the computer, and hopefully that fixes it. And if it still doesn't work, you can message me if I'm your instructor, and then I'll take care of it, because this is the correct answer for this problem.